I consider myself a Kia baby. A family car for us, where 5 of us in the household, was a Kia Picanto, and everyone had so much fun in that car. So I kind of miss that old Kia where they offered great value cars for an affordable price tag. These days, Kia seems to be heading over to a premium price tag, and I'm glad that they seem to be going back to their roots with this one right here. What's going on, guys? Roy Robles here from Zigwheels.Ph, and today we'll be doing a first look of the Kia Sonet. All right, if you remember our very first video here at Zigwheels Philippines, it was a Z Cinema feature of the Kia Sonet in the hot yellow color scheme. This time around, we've got an even more interesting colorway for the Kia Sonet in the pewter olive colorway, and I absolutely dig it, especially with given this SUV kind of proportions. I think you'll love it as well. This really protruding chin right here at the bottom, it really gives me that macho vibes that a lot of people are looking for, especially those in the lower B segment that we have right here. This is a small SUV, and I really dig its macho vibe. You got this nice aggressive looking radiator grille right here with a brushed aluminum looking lower lip. You got full LED implementations, a DRL right here. Kind of looks like a 90-degree L shape here that really gives it an even more badass look. Full LED headlamps, LED fog lamps, and repeater signals right here, as well as on the side mirrors. Now, one of the things that like I said earlier, one of the things that really caught my attention is this protruding lower chin at the bottom, giving it a little bit of an underbite, kind of like a bulldog with bulldog proportions here. Again, if you're looking for an affordable small SUV, you could do so much worse than the Kia Sonet. You got this nice power bulge on top of the hood right here, this new Kia badge right on top. I would have rather have it right here at the bottom, but since the design convention of Kia vehicles is kind of looking like the Kia Sorento and even the Kia EV6, they put it right here on the hood. It really is quite a looker, especially when going down the road in this one. This is a part where you actually see how small of an SUV this is. Small, but definitely not terrible, because you still have 205 millimeters of ground clearance to work with. You got blacked out 16-inch alloy wheels with some tiny silver inserts, which I appreciate, because you know how much I'm kind of iffy about two-tone color scheme or machined colored rims right there. I'm glad that they put in some aggressive, some macho looking rims here instead of that. So you got 16 inches right there, and you still have these cosmetic roof rails on top, similar to that of the Kia Sonet. Make sure that you don't put in too much of a heavy items right here, because you have a sunroof on top, as well as a shark fin antenna and a warning right here saying do not load. Anyway, what would you prefer, taking this out or having the sunroof? I would probably prefer the sunroof. You got these nice repeater signals on the side mirrors, as I mentioned earlier. Large windows on the side that's going to help out with visibility, especially on the road. And yes, since this is a small SUV, you get your prerequisite black plastic cladding right here. One design feature of the Kia Sonet that I absolutely appreciate is that it carried over a design language, a design feature from the Kia Sonet, which I love, especially this part right here. You can actually see this character line right here at the bottom of the windows. Then it has a kink going up top right there. It's even more pronounced in the two-tone version of the Kia Sonet. But this is not a two-tone version, but it's even more pronounced in that variant. But right here, the SX variant without the two-tone, it's still pretty nice. But in the two-tone versions, you'll definitely see what I'm talking about, this design feature on the side. Now, if you notice this particular silver trim at the bottom of the side windows here, I do appreciate that. It adds with the visibility of the car. They could have done away with it right here at the bottom, but at least it doesn't have one of those faux side steps, which can be found on the Kia Sonet. This one looks clean, and I absolutely love it. One thing I also appreciate, it's got full disc brakes all around, which is surprising since this is an entry-level small SUV. Now let's check out the rear, shall we? Because it's right here in the back that we appreciate much more of the SUV goodness in the Kia Sonet. Because what we see right here, if you notice that the side profile seems a little bit short and stout, it suddenly becomes a little bit wider right here in the back. The Kia Sonet badging right here is nice and clean. Again, you got the Kia badge right there and nothing else. You won't be able to differentiate the Kia Sonet EX, the SX, in this case the SX, with the entry-level LX variant, because you won't find any badging that says right there. And this light bar, that's standard with all variants of the Kia Sonet. You have this large opening giving you access to all this space inside. My only gripe with this though is that the loading floor seems to be a little bit high up, but once you do get your stuff inside, you got a nice floor to work with. Another thing right there is a pretty thin wafer-like floor there, but at least it's not made of paper or cardboard, so that may last a couple of years. But if you need even more space, you can fold these rear seats down. And a hallmark of all Kia vehicles, even from what I remember as a kid, is that they do fold pretty flat. In this case, it is pretty flat. You just have some sort of ridge right here to work with. But yeah, you can bring in your boogie board. You can put it in your buy-in boxes inside, no problem. Overall, the exterior of the Kia Sonet is definitely an SUV through and through, thanks to all these boxy proportions. I wonder how it looks like the inside, because that's where you're going to be spending all your time with this car. So let's take a look. All right, so we're inside the Kia Sonet, and first thing that caught my attention are these brown leather material seats. You can also find the same leather material on the outboard armrest, and it creates some sort of contrast with the pewter olive exterior. And there are a couple of people that might find that a little bit iffy, especially my director Ash over here. He says that it seems like an odd choice, but it just adds a little bit more premium to it. I know a couple of guys who appreciate a tan interior, so at least they were able to give it that. The seats are manually operated. You can adjust it for both height, and you can move it forward and back. You can tilt it forward and back as well, so that's nice. The steering wheel though is only adjustable for rake, so it's up and down, not reach. Nope, it's definitely not gonna work for me right there. So one thing on the dashboard here is that it is swathed with piano black. So you got these piano black inserts here on the dashboard, in the middle of the AC vents, as well as here around the shifter, serving as some sort of bezel right there. And yeah, I'm not really much into piano black, because just looking at it like this, and then yeah, there are scratches everywhere. Better bring a microfiber cloth with you if you buy a Kia Sonet. But here's the thing, despite the fact that it has it's definitely hard touch materials, it has these piano black inserts, I like how driver centric the interior is. You can see that the air conditioning and the center console is a little bit tilted towards the driver, so you can get all the information that you need while driving, and it is pretty intuitive as well. The AC and the HVAC controls are manually operated, and you do have automatic climate control right here, but they are easy. And when it comes to muscle memory here, so while you're driving, it's not one of those capacitive buttons that force you to look at it and then set it. So that it's a little safer that way. Now the 10.25-inch touchscreen infotainment system, Kia has always been known to have one of the smoothest touchscreen interfaces that I've ever seen it, and the Kia Sonet is of no exception. It also has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, blasting tunes to 6 speakers right here, and it just syncs up very seamlessly. You also have a large 10-inch digital gauge cluster right here with all the themes that you can throw at it. You got theme A, theme B, and yes, even theme C. But yeah, definitely that's something that you can work with. If you're bored with one, you can actually move to the other, so that's fine. And you have all the information that you need. You got your trip meter right there, kilometers per liter. All right, so you got an engine start-stop button right here, and which is of course exclusive to the SX model. The lower variants, the EX and the LX, you will get the manual or the physical gauge clusters right there. So you're really not missing out on anything. But if you do get this right here, you do have automatic climate control. You also get a couple of exclusive features, which is nice to see in the entry-level small SUV category. You got wireless charger here, which of course is for me a prerequisite if you have wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You have this nice sunroof on top. oh yeah, it adds a little bit more light inside. I appreciate that companies would put a sunroof right here because it helps out with our interior shots. There we go. So our camera guy can't hear and our editor has an easier time shooting our videos. You got USB-A, USB-C, wireless, and a 12-volt socket right there. A nice center armrest with a pretty spacious cubby hole. On our first impressions, it's a great interior space. Got lots of space to fit myself in. So let's check out the back and see what works for us right there. All right, so right here, the back seat of the Kia Sonet. This is probably going to be my least favorite part of the car to sit in because although you still have a respectable amount of room here, it's definitely not optimal. For someone like me, I'd probably be choosing a bigger SUV, but for what it is, it's all right. You got some knee room here. There is a sort of sculpted area here for at least have your knees fit in. You got 2 map pockets. You do have a lot of room for your feet to juggle and jiggle around with, but not that much. Headroom is, there seems to be a decreased amount of headroom because of the presence of the sunroof here, but visibility is great. Doesn't feel claustrophobic inside. I know a couple of cars, bigger cars than this one, where I feel really claustrophobic, but you see here, you have a rear quarter window, so it adds a little bit more air inside, even though I feel a little bit, I don't feel as cramped as I should be because it is a small SUV, but it's fine. It's just fine. You do have a center tunnel to work with, so it decreases the foot space in here. But you do have 2 USB-C ports, which is nice. A cubby hole right there, and an AC vent, which has the same curious design as the one right there up front. You also have a center armrest to work with 2 cup holders. You got some bottle holders right here on this side. And yeah, overall, when it comes to space, it's just all right, but visibility is excellent. But let's take this out for a drive. I want to see how the 1.5 liter NA 4-cylinder works in the Kia Sonet. All right, so we're behind the wheel of the Kia Sonet. This is the brand's newest small SUV, and first impressions, it rides pretty nice. I mean, that's because it has a 4-cylinder. A lot of its competitors have a smaller engine on it, but I appreciate that they retained a 4-cylinder engine, although it is a much bigger engine than the Kia Sonet that we earlier reviewed. It rides pretty nice and pretty high up as well. That engine makes around 113 horsepower and 144 newton meters of torque. Power goes to the front wheels thanks to a CVT. And here's the thing about CVTs. I like it when the CVTs are in a vehicle if they're not performance oriented, and this is absolutely not performance oriented, and it is made it quite well. It drives pretty smooth. I don't feel any of the CVT drone that a lot of people are droning all about. CVTs have come a long way, and I'm glad it is here in the Kia Sonet. Suspension wise, you're working with independent McPherson struts up front and a torsion bar rear suspension right there in the back, which again is fine. People are looking for an independent rear suspension in a small SUV such as this one. Might think it's a little bit overkill, but here it works pretty smoothly. I mean, you still have great maneuverability. Of course, you've got a smaller wheelbase right here, and yeah, it feels pretty great. One thing that I do experience while driving is that the road noise seems to be a little bit prevalent, but that's because you've got these hard rolling tires underneath. You got 16 inches and they have got a huge sidewall to it, but these tires are made to be as efficient as possible. They're not really the grippiest tires out there. They're pretty much there because it provides the best fuel economy as possible. If you're looking for a car that's as smooth as it can, you get a 4-cylinder instead of a 3-cylinder, because having a 3-cylinder in your vehicle, in your car, will make it act like it's a diesel. So this one is as smooth as it comes, and harshness is again left at a minimum. All right, so we're going to test out its turning radius. We got a 4-lane road here, 2 on each side. So we're on the outermost lane, doing full lock. Wow. And we are on the first lane of the other side here. So it's got a really nice turning radius. I imagine this being used in the city and being able to squeeze through tight spaces, doing sharp, small U-turns. This is the perfect car for that. And you got a nice ride height to it too. I mean, most customers who are in the market for small SUVs such as this one, they take ride height and ground clearance with pretty much high stock, because this one has 205 millimeters of ground clearance. Now, it's one of the highest in its class. I'm not sure if it's class leading. We'll be checking that out. But it does feel pretty high up. You have a commanding view of the road. Safety features. Kia's pretty proud about the safety features that they have in the Kia Sonet. I'm sure you got two airbags here to work with. You got the standard ABS with the electronic brake force distribution. You got traction control. You get downhill assist. You don't get automatic brake hold though, because you got a manual brake lever right here. You don't have automatic brake hold, but it's got DriveWise. What is DriveWise, you ask? DriveWise is Kia's advanced driver assist systems. So you do have that right here, which is surprising for me because this is a small entry-level SUV and they were able to stick it in here in the top of the line SX model. So DriveWise includes lane keep assist. I can actually feel I feel the car leading me towards the center of the lane here, so it's keeping me as straight and as center as possible. It's got lane departure warning too, and it also has a forward collision assist, so an emergency braking. So there are a couple of parameters that you have to follow, but basically what it is that if it knows or detects a car or an obstacle right in front of you, whether it's going to be a car, something else, or a person or a bike, it will automatically brake. Whether it does some ghost braking or if it detects something that's not there, we'll have to test that out in the future. But I'm just glad that those advanced driver assist systems are starting to trickle down to even the entry-level cars. It's also got high beam assist, so you won't be blinding whoever is in front of you. But one thing that is missing though is adaptive cruise control. It's got cruise control, but it's not of the adaptive kind. And I feel that it's just an OTA or over-the-air update away from getting adaptive cruise control. It's just that in this variant or in the Kia Sonet, you won't be getting that. Also, you won't get a 360-degree camera. You do get a backup camera, but no 360-degree cameras here. As we're filming, Kia Philippines hasn't released final pricing yet, but the Kia Sonet, the entry-level manual transmission variant, the LX variant, comes in at just a little bit above 700,000 pesos. And this one here, the full-fat SX variant, comes in at below 1.1 million pesos, so which actually puts it quite nicely against its competitors in the market. And with those advanced driver assist systems, with the space, with the performance, and how smooth it drives, I think this is a good car to consider. Thanks so much for watching. I know you guys are excited about the Kia Sonet. I know I am. So drop me a comment in the comment section down below and tell me if this is the right small SUV for you, or tell me what other options you have against this one. And while you're at it, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification icon so you wouldn't miss any of our videos, as well as our full review of the Kia Sonet. Thanks for watching. Roy Rawls here from Zigwheels.Ph. I will see you guys next time.